Hey, eighth grade. So our learning target today is I can write and graph equations in point slope form. So some important things that we're going to talk about today is actually the words point and slope. So the word point and the word slope are going to become part of the formula. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if you think of, well, I need a point and I need the slope to write this formula, that's exactly what's happening here. So we have this point slope formula, which looks like this. Y minus y1, that's y sub 1, just like we do with slope. The slope m multiplied by x minus x sub 1. Again, that's the sub 1, not x to the first power or anything like that. It's just x number 1. All right, so what you need to know for today is that this is the slope as always. So we have our slope here. And this x1, y1 is a point. So there's our point slope. Go ahead and write that down, guys. We're talking about point slope formula today in our work. All right, so for step 1, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to substitute the m into the equation and the x1, y1 into the equation. So we substitute m and 1 point slope into the equation. X and y will stay as stop signs. All right, so let's just try that substitution. We're not really solving anything here. We're just going to practice how do we substitute in before we start to solve in our work today. So this is going to say, here's our slope m. Here's our x1, y1. So we're going to say y stop sign minus the y1 value is 1. The slope is 7. X stop sign minus the x1 value is 2. Go ahead and catch up with that. Now all we're doing in this step, as I said, is just substitution. We're not solving for anything on this step. So there really isn't any solving going on, just practicing how do we substitute in for point slope. We'll solve in the next step. All right, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause that video. Otherwise, we have slope is -2. We have x1, y1 here. So we end up having y stop sign minus the y1 value. The y1 value is right here, which is at 4, equals the slope is -2. And then we have x minus that x1 value is -1. So there's my problem there. The only thing I'll say is that we would not leave two negatives next to each other. We would stop, chop that. So that is my answer through the substitution. Not solving for anything, just substitution. All right, that's called point slope. We grab a point, we grab a slope, we plug it in. Next problem over here, we have y minus. The y1 value is -4. Not loving those double negatives, but we'll deal with that in a minute. My slope is 5/3. And we have x minus. My x1 value is 3. So there we go. There's our substitution. That's what it looks like. We're not solving anything. I said no. We're going to chop that, though. Let's get rid of that. All right. So that's just how we substitute in for point and slope. In the next step, we're going to talk about how do we solve, how do we graph, things like that. So how do we graph an equation in point slope? First thing that we need to do is we need to plot a point on the graph. So we're going to plot my hotel room on the graph. So we plot my hotel room. After we plot my hotel room, we're going to rise and run. We're going to count the slope to make more points. Go find my friend's hotel room. Rise, run, find my friend's hotel room. And all you need is 2 points to make a line. So we're just going to draw a line. Go ahead and copy those notes down. All right, guys, here we go, 8th grade. So again, we plot my hotel room. We use rise, run, find my friend's hotel room, draw a line. So let's first of all talk about how do we find the point. So this is totally different work. We've not done this before. This is in what was called point slope. So we're going to write the equation above it. We're going to say y minus y1 is equal to the slope m multiplied by x minus x1. All right, so what we need is an absolute perfect match. If we do not have an absolute perfect match, we will have to adjust, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. We will not have a problem. I don't believe in this first one. No, we will not have a problem in this first one. But as we start to go, you're going to see where we don't have a perfect match and we have to adjust. So here we go. We have y perfect, exactly perfect. Subtract, exactly perfect. And then we have that the y1 value is equal to 6. So in our point over here, we have an x1, y1. So my y1 value is equal to 6. Okay? We have our slope. Our slope is 2/3. So in for slope, we're going to put 2/3. Keep working from left to right. X, perfect match. Subtract, perfect match. And so therefore, the x1 value is equal to 3. So there's my point and there's my slope. To graph that, we do a fast graph. We find my hotel room first. We plot it. Then we rise one to find my best friend's hotel room. So we have the analogy of here's my elevator's at 3, go up 6. So checking at the front door of the hotel, say, hey, where am I staying? They say, you're staying in room 36. You say, thank you. You find your elevator's located at 3 and then go up 6. So I find elevators located at 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is my hotel room located at 3, 6. Then I work my slope from there to find my friend's hotel room. I'm going to rise 2, run 3. So from there, I'm going to rise 2, rise 1, 2, run 1, 2, 3 from my hotel room. Remember, I go to my hotel room first, drop my stuff off, and then go find my friends. All you need is 2 to make a line, but I'm going to go ahead and find another data point, find another friend's hotel room. We're all staying in the same hotel. So from my friend's hotel room, I'm going to rise 2, run 1, 2, 3, and that kind of gives me the setup of my line. A little idea of where that line is going from. Now I'm using the pen here, so I might have some issues with, might not be able to use that line, guys. Sorry, it's a little bit off. So you're gonna just have to deal with that. Sorry, I'm using the tablet pen, so it's a little bit sloppy. All right, guys, so graph number 2. We're talking about point slope number 2. This problem, we're gonna have to adjust. You'll see what happens. We write the equation above it. We have y minus y1 equals the slope m multiplied by x minus x1. Go ahead and write. Go ahead and write that formula. All right, so it needs to match perfectly. So as we start to look, we say y, perfect. I look at my next step. I do not have a perfect match here. I have a subtraction is, what the formula says, my problem has addition. So I'm going to have to change the formula to chop. Now I have a perfect match on the sign. What happens though is now I have to adjust my y2 value, and it was 2, but I need to make it -2. So my y1 value is going to become -2. I'm going to have to adjust the y1 value. My slope is 4. My x value, perfect match. My sign, perfect match. Therefore, my x1 value is just a +1. No change made there. All right, guys, point slope. So I find my hotel room. I plot my hotel room. My hotel room. Find the elevator. It's at 1. Go down 2 floors. So I go check in at the front door of the hotel. Say, hey, where am I staying? They say you're staying at room 1, -2. So I check in at the front door. I go right 1. Find the elevator. Down 2. Right 1. Down 2. I'm going to work my slope from there to find my friend's hotel room. I need a rise and I need a run. So here's my rise. I'm going to have to put a 1 underneath to get a run. Finding friend's hotel room, so I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1. And there's my line. I only need 2 data points, but I plotted more. Again, I'm using the toolbar, so it might not be a great line. There we go, guys. So there's our graph of our second line, graph number 2. All right, so we have graph number 1 here. This is graph number 2. And graph number 3, again, using something called point slope. So here we go. We have y minus y1. We have y minus y1 equals the slope x minus x1. Looking for a perfect match. So as I work from left to right, we have y, perfect match, minus perfect match. Therefore, my y1 value is going to be equal to 3. My slope is this value right here. It says negative, so my slope is actually negative 1. We have x, perfect match. I have a problem right here in my next step. My next step is I have a plus sign. My formula says minus sign, so I'm going to have to adjust. I'm going to chop it, chop it. Now I have a perfect match, and therefore my x1 value is equal to negative 3. All right, so we have point slope formula here. So we're going to go ahead and find the point, graph the point, and work our slope from there. So we have elevator analogy. Elevator's located at 3 to the left. Get on that elevator and go up 3. We're going to go 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3. There is my hotel room. I'm going to work the slope from there. As I work the slope from there, I need a rise and I need a run. So my rise this time is going to be actually a downward movement, and I need a run. So I make that into a fraction. So from my hotel room, I'm going to go down 1 over 1 to find my friend's hotel room. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. There is my line. This is graph number 3. So what we've done so far is we've done something called point slope. You find the point, you work your slope from there to find your friend's hotel room. Brand new formula for today's work. All right, so meet me on the top of the next page. If I'm going too fast, you're going to need to pause that video. On the top of the next page, let's talk about the steps for how do we write an equation. So step number 1, we would need to find slope. Kind of the same first step always. Step number 2, we would need to choose an ordered pair. We pick one of them, x1, y1. So because it's called point slope, we need a point and we need the slope. All right, after that, we are going to substitute the point and the slope into the equation. Substitute into the equation. And then we will check by rewriting into y equals mx plus b, like we just got done doing. So go ahead and catch up on those notes, guys. Okay, come on, 8th grade, let's go. So called point slope. We need a point, we need a slope, and then we'll rewrite. So we've already done steps 2 and 3 today. Earlier in the lesson, we were just practicing, but we did not solve in today's work. You've been solving though before, so you should be fine with all 4 steps for today's work. All right, so let's take a look at what's happening here. Again, if you need to pause that video, go ahead and pause the video if you didn't get all those notes in. We have 4 problems left for today and then a summary. All right, guys, so finding that slope. So we're going to go rise, run to find that slope. So here's my hotel room. Here's my best friend's hotel room. So find the slope. We say up and down on top, left and right on bottom. Go to my hotel room. It's on the left. Drop all my stuff off. To get to my friend's hotel room, we're going to go down 1, 2. Down 2. Turn the corner. We're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. In lowest terms, then my slope would be negative 1/2. Slope is negative 1/2. Rise, run, find my hotel room, find friend's hotel room. All right, moving on then. The point. I get to choose one of these points. It doesn't make any difference which one I choose. Either one of these points I get to pick. I'm going to pick this one, 4, negative 1. So the point I'm going to choose is 4, negative 1, x1, y1. There's my point slope. Writing my equation then. Our equation is as follows. Y minus y1 equals the slope m, x minus x1. Okay, so let's substitute in. Y, stop sign, minus. The y1 value is negative 1. My slope is negative 1/2. X, stop sign. My x1 value is 4. Substitution. We practiced that earlier in the lesson. And now our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to solve for y. So as we solve for y, S and no, we're going to stop, chop, chop. So we have y plus 1 equals, I stop, chop, chop on the other side. Distribute, negative 1/2 x plus distribute. It's positive 2, negative 1/2 x plus 2. We're going to go ahead and subtract 1, copy, paste. On the left-hand side, I have y equals. If I haven't used it, drag it down. And then I have a positive 2 minus 1 is positive 1. There is my equation, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. We are going to skip the check for today because I don't want to confuse you by doing too much work, and especially through this video. So we're going to skip the check, and we're going to just go on to the next problem. All right, guys. So let's take a look at this next problem. We're doing something called point slope form. You need a point and you need a slope to do this. Starting with slope. My hotel room is here. Best friend's hotel room is here. The movement we have is up and down on top, left and right on bottom, up and down on top, left and right on bottom. So we're going to go ahead and rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's looking like 1, 2, 3, 4 is our rise. We're going to run 1, 2, 3. So my slope is 4/3. 4/3. I need a point. I can choose either one of the data points. This time I'm going to pick 0, -5 as my point. So we have x1, y1. My equation then is y minus y1 equals m multiplied by x minus x1. So my equation is y minus, my y1 value is -5. Again, if I'm going too fast, go ahead and pause that video. Then I substitute my slope in. My slope is 4/3. Then we have x minus 0. All right, guys, we're going to have to solve this for y. Solve for y. I said no, I chop over here. I have a lonely variable, and I chop on the inside. Now that plus -0 is not going to do anything for us, but we're going to go ahead and keep it in there just so that you can see it. We have y plus 5 on the left. We have to kill that parenthesis using the distributive property. So we're going to go ahead and distribute. Multiply through. 4/3 times 1 is 4/3. Reattach the variable x. We have 4/3 x. Keep that sign. That sign is plus. Distribute. 4/3 times 0 is just 0. All right, hand method kicks in. We're solving for y. Solving for y, subtract 5, copy, paste. We end up having y equals 4/3 x plus -5. Don't have to worry about that check step because we're going to do it together. There's my equation in actually slope-intercept form. We solved for y. So we went from something called point-slope form to something called slope-intercept form. We'll talk about that later. All right, guys, 2 left for today. I know it's kind of a long video today. Hang in there. If you need to pause it, take a break, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, let's keep on rolling. We're looking for point-slope form. We need a point, and we need the slope. Rise and run. So my hotel room is here. Friend's hotel room is there. So here's my hotel room. Drop all your stuff off. Go find your friend's room. Up and down on top, left and right on bottom. So we're going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to run 2. Rise 4. Run 2. Slope should be 2. All of you should have a slope of 2. All right, guys, pick one of these data points. It doesn't matter which one, and plug in. So I'm going to plug in this one. 3, 1 is going to be my data point. X1, Y1. It really does not matter. I can prove it to you in class if you're struggling with that, but it does not matter which data point you pick. We have y minus y1 equals m multiplied by x minus x1. Plugging in, here we go. So we have y, stop sign, minus the y1 value is 1. My slope is 2. We have x, stop sign, minus my x1 value is 3. My job is to solve for y. So here we go. We go y, I'm going to stop chop this. Y plus -1 equals distribute, because I have a lonely variable, and I said no. Distribute, we get 2. X, sign is plus. Distribute, multiply through. 2 times -3 is -6. And method kicks in. Solving for y. Get rid of that -1. We add 1, copy, paste. If I haven't used it, drag it down. And we get 2x plus -5. Go ahead and catch up on that if that was too fast. Go ahead and pause that video. Make sure you understand how to solve that equation for y hand method. All right, crew, last problem of the day before we go to summary. Finding slope without the graph is just using that formula. So we would have this formula, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. It's still rise and run. It's still my hotel room, friend's hotel room. It's just that the picture's gone, so we have to go to this formula. So the y2 value is negative 10. The y1 value is 8. The x2 value is 4. The x1 value is negative 2. Watch your signs there. So I stop, chop, chop in that numerator. I said no is negative 18. I stop, chop, chop in that denominator is 6. Looking for the slope of negative 18 divided by 6. If I'm going too fast, pause that video. Slope is negative 3. So slope is negative 3. Point. I need to pick one data point. I have two to choose from. Either one is fine. I'm going to pick the first one, negative 2, 8. Negative 2, 8. You totally could have picked the other one. That's fine. We'll end up with the same answer when we're done. You got to work it all the way through, though, before that will happen. Equation is y minus y1. The slope is m. X minus x1. Substitution kicking in. So we have y, stop sign, minus my y1 value is 8. The slope, negative 3. And then we have x minus x1 is negative 2. I said no. We chopped that. I say lonely variable, and I say no on the inside. Distribute, kill that parentheses, so we multiply it in, gives me negative 3. Reattach the variable x. Keep the sign, distribute. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Hand method kicks in. Solving for the variable y, I add 8, copy, paste. So we have y equals, if I haven't used it, drag it down, plus 2. Y equals negative 3x plus 2. All right, guys, I know that was a super long video today. I'm sorry if it was super boring. I tried to get a lot of information in for you. The summary for today is that the point slope formula is y minus y1 equals the slope x minus x1. Remember that y and x are just stop signs. And then point slope can be converted into y equals mx plus b. We can just solve for y. All right, guys. So that's our lesson for today, 8th grade. Your homework is to finish the next two pages. Have a fabulous night.